Dear viewers, many of you have asked me to do a video on what happens to a NRI if he is stuck in India during this COVID period because the flights are not operating, because of situations which are beyond his control, and if he is stuck in India, what happens to my taxation? What happens to my residential status? Does it really affect or not? Are there any remedies given by income tax or government of India for such individuals? So this is a video which I am doing to throw some light on what exactly is happening. Are there any relief which is given to you? This is NRI Money Clinic for you, and I am Dr. Chandrakant Bhatt, investment consultant and a financial planner.
NRI Money Clinic. No hype, just the right advice.
Dear viewers, to talk about the taxation related impact for NRIs who are stuck in India due to this COVID travel restrictions, I have brought to the studios my eminent faculty CA Sriram Rao. CA Sriram Rao is a familiar face on this particular channel. He is a practicing chartered accountant, a specialist on international taxation, and he has been attending to the queries and problems faced by many HNIs across the globe. Welcome to this show, Mr. CA Sriram.
Thank you.
Mr. Sriram, a lot of our viewers are asking, I am stuck in India, I was supposed to go back, but flights were not operating. Either the flights are not operating in India or my host country is not allowing me to come back because of problems that persisted in India. In such a situation, what happens to my residential status here in India, or what happens to my taxation? Are there any information available from the government sources or from income tax department? Is there any circulars or any information with this respect?
So, taxation in relation to financial year 2021, starting from 1st April to 31st of March 2021.
Okay.
There is no relief as such which is given by the Government of India, especially in respect of determining the residential status of an individual. So, if you remember, for the financial year 1920, there was a relief where March, the period between March 22nd.
Correct. Sudden lockdown was created and we got a circular, and our channel also did a video on that particular subject, that if you are stuck in India, that will not affect your residential status. Specific guidelines were given.
Yes.
So, what happens for this year? 2021.
Unfortunately, for this year, there is no such relief which has been provided as far as relief measures under income tax is concerned to determine the residential status of an individual.
Which means to say that whatever the general guidelines is there as per the Finance Act, the latest update on 2020, the same rules will apply.
Yes.
With respect to somebody getting stuck in India for not able to travel, whether it's his own personal choice or because of the restrictions imposed by different countries, there are no guidelines have been issued.
No, there is no relief which has been provided under the income tax as such.
Okay. So, when you are filing your tax return, you have to file whether how many days you have stayed in India, whether you are resident, whether you are not resident. That has to be filed as per the routine ways of doing it.
Yes.
By this time, the government should have come out with some clarity on these issues. Is that the government is insensitive to this issue, or are there any valid reasons behind this particular move not to issue any circulars to this effect? What do you feel?
In this regard, the government has already issued a circular clarifying why they are not giving this additional relief as such.
So, there is a genuine reason behind it.
Yes, they have given some pointers.
Okay.
Why they are not giving.
Okay.
The examples or the pointers what they have given is, say a person who is having a short stay in India, say for example for 60 days or 120 days or 182 days, any which way he will not be a resident as per the regular rules as alone. So, that is one of the reason. Secondly, in case if they give relief, say 60 days between 1st of April 2020 to 31st of May 2020 is not to be counted for residential status. If that relief is given, It might happen that he becomes double non-resident in 2 countries, or he may not become a resident in any of the countries.
Any countries.
Correct.
So he was not present in that host country where from he came from. So he became a non-resident.
Correct.
And you are getting an exemption here, you will non-resident. So
Yes.
the question comes, where are you resident?
Where are you resident?
Yes.
Where are you tax resident? That question will come. So apart from this, if a person becomes dual resident, he may become a resident in India due to say overstay, and he may become resident in outside India. Say for example, US citizen coming back to India, US citizen will be a tax resident irrespective of number of days stay what he has done in US. And tax resident in India says if you stay in 182 days in India or more than that, then you become a tax resident in India. So there is a conflict. Dual residency can happen for 2021.
Okay.
So this is a genuine reason, and it can happen in any year.
Okay.
For that, there is already a provision under DTA, that is kind of a tiebreaker rules,
Okay.
how to determine in such scenario the residency status of an individual, which is already there in DTA. So that remedy is already available. So apart from this, say for example, most of the NRIs who are going outside India are for the purpose of employment. So what happens to their employment salary, whatever they are going to get? Invariably, that is also covered by the double taxation avoidance agreement reliefs.
Okay.
So in those circumstances, India thought that there is no requirement of giving any special relief.
Okay.
So these are the few pointers which the circular has provided.
Okay, if I understood you right, so government feels that there is no need to give this relief, because if they give this relief, it gives rise to unwanted complications in interpretations.
And
number one.
Yes.
Number two is that between the two countries, in any case, there are DTA agreements are there. If there are any problems which can come, and those such issues can be resolved by DTA agreement.
Definitely.
So that's not going to be an issue. So let's not complicate further on. So they have not given a specific relief, but they have explained for
Yes.
this particular reason we are not giving any special relief.
Exactly.
Right.
They have explained in particular and also with some certain examples
Right.
here and there.
See, the problem comes here. There are so many people. See, in the previous year, because of this sudden lockdown, government issued a notification, and they could have thought that okay, this year also they will get a notification. People made use of this intention of the government. They overstayed in India, and many people exercised the option to work from home. So I'll be at home, I'll work from here, everything is on the internet, I'll get my salaries right. Maybe by end of the year some notifications will come. They overstayed here.
Yes.
Probably people misuse this system, and as I see, we live in Dubai, we got stuck in Dubai and we got stuck in India, but there was bubble arrangements between the countries for airlines, and there was quite a comfortable movement of people between the countries during the year. There were intermittent period. For first 6 months or so there was a lot of problem. Then the second wave came only in the month of April, where again the flights got disrupted. But there was good opportunity for people to get back to their cases. So this could be one another reason. So if somebody has overstayed here, probably the laws which are applicable will take care of it. So you will not get a relief around that. But one question that I have in my mind is, suppose somebody unintentionally stayed here and he started working from India, and he gets a salary credited to his overseas account. What happens in that case? He stayed for more than 182 days, so he is a resident. He is sitting at home and working because his company allowed him. His employer is outside, and the salary gets credited to his overseas account. What happens in such a scenario?
These are the situation, peculiar situation as we would say, and for this there are reliefs under double taxation avoidance agreement. For example, as per Indian law, if we directly go by the provisions of the Indian income tax law, what it says is, if a person renders any services sitting in India, that services can be employment service also, and employment services he has rendered sitting in India, the same service will get taxed in India irrespective of your residential status.
Okay.
Okay, this is what Indian law says purely.
Okay.
And of course, in the hands of a resident, it should get taxed. However, in the hands of a non-resident, there is always a provision under double taxation avoidance agreement. What the double taxation avoidance agreement normally says, if you have rendered service sitting in India and your stay has exceeded 183 days, and if you have received such a salary from a employer who is from an resident employer, say for example a US entity, he is having a subsidiary in India, that subsidiary, the US entity says to the subsidiary, you pay the taxes of this person. If this is a situation, then invariably that amount will get taxed in India.
Okay.
Otherwise, there are specific reliefs which is provided under double taxation agreement. Even though the salary gets taxed in both the countries, the country where he is a resident, say if he has stayed over 183 days, he would become a resident of India. Once he becomes a resident of India, Indian government will give the credit for taxes what he has paid outside India, which we call it as foreign tax credit.
Okay.
You have to include the global income, even the salary income what you have received from US, while computing your income, compute tax liability, whatever tax you are supposed to pay in India, for that whatever tax you have paid outside India, that you can claim it as a credit.
Yeah, so it works both ways. Suppose you paid taxes in India and while filing tax returns in some other country, you can take credit of
Yes.
that. Or if that salary has come by deduction of taxation done outside the country, you can claim it here.
Yes.
So probably I personally feel, so this is a bit complex issue at this point of time. If you have stayed in India and you have worked in India and the salary got credited and there is a mess of number of days, how the residential status is determined, whether you are taxable or not, my best suggestion probably I can think of is approach a professional chartered accountant, explain your situation, inform him how many days you have stayed inside the country, where the salary is paid, who is your employer, from where you got these things, and leave the decision in his hands how it has to be handled. Is it a fair way of dealing in this particular situation?
Yes, it has to be dealt because it is not so easy for a layman. Of course, a person who is having a law background, he would be able to understand if he reads all the provisions. For a layman, it is a little difficult to understand all this. So, at that point in time, it is always better if they get some good consultancy how to go forward in this kind of scenarios.
Yeah, because there are so many countries where the NRIs are located. Each country has its own rules and regulations. Some people are in the sales line, they come here, stay here and go back. Some people are in project execution, persons are there. We do not know. It's difficult to generalize the whole taxation issue because of this COVID related travel bans or your overstay in India. It's better if you consult a chartered accountant and take their guidance and file your tax returns. Mr. Sriram, I have one question for you. Now we discussed in a very broad way what happened or what might happen. But if let's assume that there is a genuine case which is not covered by this, or we can't find an answer for this, is there a remedy for them, or is there a way they can appeal for this or make a representation to somebody and get a redressal for their problem?
This situation had come into the knowledge of the CBDT also.
Okay.
They gave a small window to file something called as a form NR.
Okay.
Okay. Because the CBDT circular was issued on 3rd of March 2021.
Okay.
Clarifying why they are not going to give any general relief to everybody.
Okay.
After that, they issued form NR and asked the general public to come back with their grievances if they have any specific grievances.
Okay.
And that window closed on 31st of March.
Oh, the government heard the general public. If you have a genuine problem like this, through this form you bring it to our notice.
Correct.
Okay.
So they heard. So after that, the government was supposed to come back. So it depends on individuals' grievance. So they might take redressal for that. However, even if you have not applied for a genuine relief, you can always rely on the double taxation avoidance agreements as well as the provisions of the income tax in India, which will give if double taxation avoidance agreement will give bilateral relief. It will make sure that none of the income will get taxed doubly. Whereas bilaterally, India also can give relief. Under the provisions of the Income Tax Act also, there are relief provisions which will give relief from double taxing of any income.
Okay. So probably instead of speaking in a very general terms, let's assume that these are instances of individual cases and at best be dealt by the chartered accountants in their best possible judgment, how it should be presented or how it should be appealed. Thank you, Mr. Sriram, for bringing this piece of information for the benefit of our viewers. Day in and day out, I was getting a lot of inquiries on these issues, asking us to do a video. Dear viewers, hope the video what we did today brought some information on this particular issue. If it helped you to understand what happens to the taxation and residential status of an individual who is stuck in India due to travel bans, please like this video. If you are a person who is watching this channel for the first time, or if you are yet to subscribe for this channel, please hit the subscribe button and press the bell icon. Don't forget to share this video with your near and dear ones. Thank you very much for watching this episode on NRI Money Clinic. I will be back with you with yet another topic in yet another video very, very soon.
Press the bell icon for more details and subscribe our channel.